Good morning, Joel.
Hi, Travis. You made eggs?
Sure. Grab a plate. It's a special occasion after all.
It is?
Of course. Listening to the Kids Corner is always a special occasion. In fact, I think it's starting right now.
Did you find anything, Viv?
Nothing. No phone chargers, no lights, no cars, not anything that the cruise line promised. Where's the luxury? Instead, we're stuck here on this island like Robert Cousteau.
Who?
That guy in the really old book. He was stuck on an island, had a friend called Wednesday or something.
You might want to sit down. I think the stress of the situation is getting to you.
Oh, you think? And where's our captain? Didn't he wash up on shore with us too?
I haven't seen him for a while. Maybe he's still on the beach keeping a lookout for passing ships?
That makes sense. Let's go see if he's had any luck.
What's going on here?
Aloha, my passengers. Come join me. The minnow stew is just about ready. How's it coming along, First Mate Jacobs?
Just adding the ginger and coconuts now, Captain Everett.
Perfect. In the meantime, folks, pull up a palm frond pile, take a load off. Isn't the tropical sunrise something? Sure beats back home.
It sure doesn't. I had so much planned for this week.
Me too. I have business to attend to.
That's the thing, though. Now you don't have to do anything. You get to relax, go fishing, and it looks like I have a bite. Come here, you little buddy.
Anything good, Captain?
Just a bluegill again.
This is ridiculous. If you're just gonna sit there making merry and fishing, how will we ever get off this island?
Yeah, I'm missing the big reveal of my favorite soap opera. The leading lady was about to profess her love. Even now, I'm being forced to skip her greatest moments by being trapped here with no shelter, no water.
Now, Miss Vivian, you can always catch up to past episodes when we get back. Here, why don't you quench your thirst on this pineapple coconut smoothie and listen to the radio?
That sounds as good as a banana cream pie.
Speaking of which...
Oh, yummy!
How are you able to make all this stuff?
You'd be surprised what you're able to do with a couple poles of bamboo.
I guess.
Dig in, everyone. I'll start the first program. So, what did you think, Vivian?
The program was great, Everett, but what do we do now?
Now? I don't know. Talk about what's going on in our lives, banter about stuff we're interested in this week, or figure out what Mr. Jacobs is working on.
Okay.
Hey, kids, how's it going this morning?
Great, Mr. Jacobs. Will and I are showing Vivian around the garage.
Glad to meet you.
Thanks. I heard it's the place to be on Saturday mornings.
Oh, yeah? Well, is it up to snuff?
Snuff? Oh, yeah. It's all right, I guess.
Just all right?
I mean, you guys are always talking about how lots of fun stuff is happening around here, so I'm observing.
Well, I was just planning to relax for this morning, but if you kids want to play some games, read some books or comics, or talk about stuff, we can do that too.
Read? Talk? Seriously, guys?
It's not what it sounds like.
Good, because that sounds pretty boring.
Maybe we should just start up the radio again.
So what now, guys?
Well, usually by now we have something to ask Mr. Jacobs about, and then he teaches us something, usually using the Bible to explain.
The Bible? You mean that old book that priests and old people talk about?
It's not just those people who talk about it, Vivian.
Well, I never hear anyone at school talking about it.
Us kids talk about it a lot here. It has answers for all of our questions.
Fine, Mr. Jacobs. If the Bible has all the answers, then what does it say about not dying of boredom?
I'm not aware of that exact topic being discussed in the Bible, but though it doesn't seem like it, being bored is a gift from God.
Okay, what Bible verse says that? Because that sounds...
Unbelievable?
well, yeah.
I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. Don't you, Mr. Jacobs?
I'll try to explain. When God gave us the ability to feel bored, it was His way of making sure that it wasn't easy for us to sit around doing nothing. There are lots of verses like Proverbs 13:4 and Ecclesiastes 10:18 that warn us that when we are lazy, things won't work out well for us. So having something built into us that wants to be busy is a good thing.
Oh yeah! See guys, I knew he knew what he was talking about.
I guess. But I wouldn't really say being bored is a good thing. I mean, when I'm in school or waiting for the bus or having to spend time with my grandma, not gonna lie, it's pretty boring.
Well, yeah, Mr. Jacobs?
You do have a point there, Vivian. And those are some times where being bored doesn't seem very helpful, but it still can be.
Really? Like how?
Maybe instead of sitting around when you're at older relatives' homes, you could see what you can do to help them, or perhaps tell them about your day. Believe it or not, a lot of older people like having their families over because they are bored and want to actually do something with people. And by taking this opportunity to help them not feel bored, you won't be bored either. And you'll be showing them God's love by serving them.
Fair enough. What about my other examples?
Yeah, we can't exactly see what we can do for others in the middle of class or while we wait for the bus.
No, but in those cases, God's given us minds to think about things, to ask questions, and to learn. You know what? There's a script in my file cabinet that might just help explain. Should I go get it?
Do you really need to ask?
Script?
A drama script. It's a thing we do around here. You'll like it.
I'll take that as a yes then.
And we'll listen to the radio.
And now, from the garage of Lionel Jacobs comes the wild drama, The Rare Whooping Finch, an adapted biblical teaching about patience. Once upon a time, there were two birders named Danny and Stella.
What's a birder?
It's a person whose hobby is to locate and observe ornithological species.
He means we're bird watchers.
And they were very accomplished bird watchers indeed. They had both traveled all across the world to see all kinds of birds in their natural habitat.
These are my pictures from Africa. The secretary birds are my favorite, but of course the ostriches and ibis are magnificent in their own right. Then again, the swallows are renowned for their unladen airspeed.
One day, one of Danny's favorite birding channels uploaded a fascinating report.
Hi folks, it's me again, Ranger Brett, and you'll never guess what kind of bird just took up residence in the woods near my cabin. Let's take a listen and see if you can recognize it.
It's a whooping finch.
What? Where?
If you guessed the whooping finch, you're absolutely right. They've made their way all the way to Gullah Stream State Park. This is an opportunity you won't want to miss.
That's awesome. We should... You're packed already?
And you're not? Come on, daylight's burning.
In a shorter than average amount of time, the two birders arrived at Gully Stream State Park.
All right, folks, I know there's a lot of you who are very excited about seeing the whooping finch. I'm about to start my nature talk about this amazing little visitor in 5 minutes, so have a seat and I'll be right with you.
5 minutes? Who's got 5 minutes? I'm heading out. You coming?
I think I'll stick around and listen.
Suit yourself. I've just got to put on some bug spray like so, and I'm off.
Stella watched her friend hike off into the woods, wondering if perhaps she had made the right choice.
What if he sees the whooping finch before I do?
All right, folks, let's get started.
Meanwhile, Danny walked high and low through the park, searching and searching. He used bird calls and guidebooks. He left the beaten trails and pushed deep into the forest, hoping to catch a glimpse of the rare bird, but to no avail.
That's all right. I've got all weekend.
Meanwhile, back at the trailhead, Stella was learning many helpful things like,
the whooping finch is a bird that likes peace and quiet. It will fly away if you walk on crunchy leaves, so stay on the trails.
and
The whooping finch hates the smell of bug spray and will fly away if it catches wind of you, which it will because they have very good noses.
and also,
We just so happen to sell whooping finch calls. These are the only calls we found to work. The rest of the calls seem to make the whooping finch fly away.
and so, armed with this knowledge, Stella was able to eventually find a whooping finch and take many, many pictures.
I can't wait to show Danny. I hope he shows up soon. He's missing out.
But he never did show up. Danny had gotten incredibly lost, and it took a 3-day search to get him back home.
Sorry you didn't get to see the finch in person.
That's all right. I got a lot of pictures of vultures. They were following me around for some reason near the end there.
The moral is that it's always wise to take time to listen. Sometimes we are tempted to just jump into things and not sit still. But when we do that, we run the risk of missing out on the good things God has for us. And we might end up getting very, very lost.
So, Vivian,
So what, Everett?
how'd you like the drama script?
It was fun. You do that kind of thing all the time?
More often than not.
Okay. I'll have to come by more often then.
Yes!
Mr. Jacobs, I had a question about the stuff we've been talking about.
All right, Will, how can I help?
I get what you were talking about in the drama. Obviously, it's smart to listen when someone is trying to teach us something. But sometimes, even though I know it's smart to listen, I still get a little antsy, you know?
Oh, I do know quite well. I've often had times where I just wanted to get out of the classroom or the waiting room or even church and do something else.
So what did you do to stop feeling that way?
Well, I asked God to help me. You see, a lot of the time we get bored because we don't have patience, self-control, or might even be worried about something that only God can fix. In those times, I found that if I let God be in charge of how I feel and what I do, He gives me patience, self-control, and the peace that lets me truly rest and be free from having to be busy all the time.
Is that in the Bible?
Galatians 5 and Philippians 4:7 seem to say something along those lines. I know we were talking about how God doesn't want us to be lazy earlier, but He doesn't want us to constantly be working either. Ecclesiastes 3 and Exodus 34:21 tell us that God thinks that us taking a rest from life is good, and we need to trust Him to take care of us in the meantime. Kind of like He says in Matthew 6.
Huh. I didn't know God was like that. I've only heard that He's watching us, making sure we don't do anything wrong, and if we do, then He punishes us. I didn't know He actually cares about us.
You'll learn a lot of stuff like that when you hang around here. It's kind of why I like being here, even if some days are less exciting.
Yeah. Speaking of exciting, you guys want to go to the Old Forest Bridge?
Wait, there's an old bridge in the forest somewhere?
Yeah, we'll show you.
Bye, kids. Want to turn off the radio before you go?
I've got it.